Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Jamar here, Vegas Scents. In this new video, I have several different Scentual Obsessions fragrances that were sent to me for free to review. So just take that into consideration, but also keep in mind that my opinion of these fragrances are totally my own, not influenced by the fact that I received any of these fragrances for free. So pretty much what I'm going to be doing in this particular video is I want to sort of give whether or not I would recommend these fragrances as sort of like blind buys to anyone, or if I pretty much would say, okay, before you go about buying like a full bottle of this, maybe sample it first, because some of these fragrances I like, and some of them I'm kind of like on the fence about them. Maybe I might not really know how to feel about some of them. And then I would say maybe one or two of them, it's like an absolute no for me. All right, so pretty much what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna start off with Scentual Obsessions interpretation of Single Malt, and that is Single Malt by Kilian. So with Kilian fragrances, I mean, I've smelled a few different interpretations from by Kilian, and I can definitely say that by Kilian is probably not really my favorite fragrance house. A lot of their fragrances tend to be like sort of sweeter, gourmand fragrances, but I would say not all of them that I've smelled anyway necessarily are like the most easy to wear or mass appealing gourmand fragrances. So this particular fragrance, again, it's called Single Malt. When I look up the notes on Fragrantica for Single Malt has a top note of plum, and then it has a mid of wheat, and then in the base it's got vanilla, cedar, and Toulouse balsam, which I have no idea what that is. But pretty much when I initially sprayed this particular fragrance on, I mean, I guess I do smell like this plum scent, but this isn't like the same type of plum that you get in like the Andy Warhol from Scentual Obsessions. This is like a really, I don't know, it almost kind of smells like a really tart sort of plum note in this particular fragrance. And I don't know, man, in this one, I can't necessarily say that I'm the biggest fan of it in the opening anyway. Now, as this starts to dry down, I do sort of get more so like a woody type of vanilla type of scent. Definitely becomes a lot more creamy. And then I would say the plum note sort of takes a little bit of a backseat, but it's still there. But I think once it mixes in with those other notes, this becomes a lot more tolerable, at least for me. Now, definitely, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with, I guess, like the blend, or the way that Scentual Obsessions has done this interpretation. Just as far as the scent profile goes, it's not really for me. All right, so I would say definitely if you are into, I guess, malt fragrances like this, or like pure malt from Mugler, maybe this could be like a blind buy, but I would say definitely try this out first before you go about buying a full bottle. All right, now going on to the next fragrance, Wit Sage and Sea Salt. So this is Wit Sage and Sea Salt. This is their interpretation of the fragrance by the same name by Joe Malone. This particular fragrance is one of my favorite fragrances that I was sent throughout the last few months that I received samples from Kevin over there at Scentual Obsessions. This one I'm definitely pretty soon gonna be buying a full bottle of. This one is like a really nice, fresh, sweet, sort of aquatic type of scent. I would say it's not like your typical type of aquatic, like Definitely not something like a light blue or like, you know, a Zaro Chrome or Nautical Voyage. It's not like that. This one is definitely, it's a lot different, I would say. It almost sort of has like, in my opinion, kind of like sort of a floral aspect to it. But this one is really, really, really nice. I would say maybe some people might find this one a little bit on the feminine side, but in my opinion, this one kind of just sits right in the middle, like completely unisex. And at least the longevity that I'm getting out of this sample, it lasts on me all day long. So this is definitely gonna be outperforming the original for sure. Everything that I've seen about the original shows that you get like maybe a couple of hours and then it's completely gone. So this one I would say is definitely blind buy worthy. Moving on to the next one, Armani Code Profumo. This one is definitely, this is a solid fragrance as well. So this is, you know, Scentual Obsession's interpretation of Armani's Armani Code Profumo. And what you get with this is just pretty much like a really sweet, spicy, sort of like vanilla tonka bean type of fragrance. Almost kind of has like a root beer or sort of fizzy type of touch to it. And this one I would say is perfect for like a day like today out here in Vegas, where the high today was like in the mid 40s. This one is perfect for that type of weather. I would say that it's probably only good for like, you know, those really cold winter days. Definitely wouldn't want to wear this in like the summer or the spring because it's way too sweet for that. But I would say this one is also going to be another one that's pretty blind buy safe as well. All right, so again, that one is Armani Code Profumo. All right, so moving on to the next one, Man in Black. So that is Scentual Obsession's interpretation of Bulgari's Man in Black, and I'm a little disappointed with this one. This one, when I first initially sprayed on or just smelling it, you know, off of the atomizer, this one smells like really, really good. And, you know, you get kind of like this sort of spicy citrus blast, you know, when you first spray it on. But the only thing with this one is, and it doesn't matter if I spray this one on my clothes or on skin, this just does not last at all. Like, this is literally gone, I would say, within about 2.5 hours. And it's not something where it's like my nose is going blind to it or anything like that. Like, this is completely gone. So I'm not really sure if, you know, maybe if this is just like a off batch or whatnot, because I don't, none of these samples that I have as of yet have like the batch stickers on them. I think he probably started doing that after, you know, sending me like the last batch of samples that I received. But yeah, man, this particular sample, I've worn this at least, I want to say maybe 3 times or so, 3 or 4 times. And each time that I've worn it, this has been gone, like I said, in like just a couple of hours. So hopefully that's something that can improve. I know Kevin is always making changes to formulations of fragrances, always looking to, you know, sort of improve, you know, upon all of his fragrances as far as the juice goes, the aesthetics of the bottles. So I'm sure that that's something that if other people are also getting the same thing out of, he'll definitely be able to improve that in the future. All right, so I would say, at least for now, this is not going to be one that you would want to buy if I guess the other bottles perform the same way as my sample here. Moving on to the next one, YSLY. So this is actually the second YSLY sample that Kevin sent me. He sent me one, I want to say like last spring or something like that, so like almost a year ago. And that particular sample, it smelled absolutely amazing. I almost want to say that I preferred the smell of that one over like YSLY EDP, which this version of YSLY that Scentual Obsessions carries is based on the EDT. This fragrance, the sample that I received before, it smelled really good, but it only lasted on me for maybe about, I don't know, 4 hours or so, 4 or 5 hours. This one I can definitely confirm, you know, after wearing it, that it does last now at least a full like 8 to 9 hours. So I was able to get like a full work day out of this one just recently. The only difference between, I would say, this formulation or batch of the fragrance that's out right now, you know, as opposed to the previous version, is I feel like the previous version, it definitely projected a little bit more than what this one did. This one definitely seems to be a little bit more subtle on the projection. I would say the projection is definitely a lot more constant though throughout the entire life of it. But it definitely seems to be a little bit softer than what it was before. But I guess that's the trade-off that you're getting with this one. You're getting less projection, but you're getting much more longevity out of the scent. So this one is definitely a solid scent. I plan to get a bottle of this one as well, to just sort of wear as like just a dumb reach fragrance when it starts to get really hot out here, and also for wearing in the gym. I really feel like this is a really good gym scent, because the EDT version of YSLY, it seems to be a little bit more on like the, I guess, the fresher, cleaner, sort of more aromatic side, whereas the EDP seems to be on like the more sweeter, heavier, thicker side as far as the scent goes. All right, so this one is absolutely blind buy worthy for sure. All right, moving on to the next one, we have Love Don't Be Shy. All right, so that is their interpretation of Love Don't Be Shy by Killian again. And this one is weird because, in my opinion, this is definitely, like, I would say strictly a women's fragrance. You know, I have seen where some men do claim that they do wear this. I couldn't really see myself pulling this off. I did wear it, you know, a couple of times. Didn't ever go out and wear it, but just wearing it here in the apartment. And this was just entirely too sweet for me. Like, it was entirely too sweet. It tastes like, or not taste, it smells like kind of like orange bubblicious bubble gum, but like, I guess imagine that bubble gum being dipped in like sugar or like some kind of like heavy like syrup or something like that. Like, it is extremely sweet and cloying. And I mean, it's really easy to overspray this. Also, it seems like as this starts to dry down, this starts to get a lot more sweeter and a lot more cloying. So this is definitely one that you would want to be careful as far as how many sprays you do with this, because this, I feel like, could really piss some people off and give people headaches. I would say that this is blind buy worthy if you are a woman and you like sweeter, like kind of like gourmand, girly type of fragrances. If you're a man and you're a gourmand lover, I would say you want to sample this first to absolutely make sure that this is something that you want to wear, because I mean, this initially smells pretty good, you know, in the opening, but like I said, as it starts to dry down, it just gets absolutely just way too heavy, too sweet, too cloying for me. All right, so again, that one is Love Don't Be Shy. All right, the one from Scentual Obsessions here, this is based on Dolce & Gabbana's the EDT version, and this one smells really, really good. I haven't smelled the EDT version. I did used to own the EDP version, so I can only sort of compare this to the EDP. In terms of smell, this smells pretty close to what I remember the EDT smelling like. I would say the only difference between this and like the EDP that I had is this seems to be a little bit more, I would say, citrus heavy. It's definitely a lot more sort of aromatic and a lot more thinner, I would say, than the EDP. The EDP is definitely a lot more richer, it's thicker, and I would say it's also sweeter than this. Now, I mean, from everything that I've heard about the EDT, that's pretty much the difference that you get between the EDT and the EDP. So for all I know, this could smell identical to what the EDT smells like. But again, I haven't smelled that version of the fragrance. But I would say if you like Dolce & Gabbana, the one, then you would absolutely love this particular interpretation of the fragrance. So definitely, I would say this is definitely blind buy worthy. Next fragrance that I have here is their interpretation of La Nuit de l'Homme. So that's La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent. This particular fragrance, I did do another video on this one as well. And pretty much this is, I would say, the closest interpretation of La Nuit de l'Homme that I've smelled. It still doesn't nail La Nuit de l'Homme like 100%. And I haven't smelled any interpretation of that fragrance that's nailed it 100%. I would say this is still just like the Alexandria fragrances version of this scent. This is still just a tad bit greener, I would say, and less sweet than what La Nuit de l'Homme is, the original. But this is definitely a lot less greener than the Alexandria version. So this, I would say, this definitely comes a lot closer to the actual scent than anything else that I've smelled. I would say this is definitely a good alternative to maybe have, especially if you have like a vintage bottle of La Nuit de l'Homme that, you know, you don't intend on selling, but you don't want to use it, you know, because you know that you're not going to be able to get a decently priced bottle of it, you know, anytime soon after you finish it. I would say this would be, you know, a good interpretation to buy. But I would say at the price that you can get La Nuit de l'Homme for the original version, you're probably better off getting that particular version of La Nuit de l'Homme, because honestly, I would say this and the original that I have, which I still have a sample of, they pretty much perform about the same. So you're not really getting more performance with this one. And I would say the original still smells better than this. So I would say only pick this up, like I said, if you have the original formulation and you're just trying to save that bottle, but you still love the scent of La Nuit de l'Homme, this is gonna be a good alternative. Moving on here to the next one. This one is called Double Aventis. So pretty much Double Aventis is Scentual Obsession's interpretation of Creed Aventis and then Creed Aventis Cologne mixed into one fragrance. Honestly, with this particular fragrance, I would say, I mean, you get a little bit of like that Aventis, you know, in the opening. So you get like that sort of sweet pineapple blast in the opening. But I would say pretty much after about maybe a couple of minutes, this pretty much is turned strictly into like Aventis Cologne. This doesn't project the way that Scentual Obsession's version of Aventis does. It definitely behaves a lot more like Aventis Cologne, where it's a lot closer to the skin, you know, doesn't really project that much. And honestly, in terms of smell, this one smells pretty much to my nose just like the Aventis Cologne does. So I would say, honestly, the best versions of Aventis from Scentual Obsessions to buy is either the Aventis Balance version, which is pretty much, it's based off of, I want to say, like the more recent sort of fruitier batches of Aventis. And then I would say Aventis Cologne Intense, which, you know, that is pretty much, it's still Aventis Cologne for the most part, but it's also mixed in with, what is it? Tom Ford's, I think, Mandarino Diamalfi or something like that. It's one of those Tom Ford scents that has like mandarin orange in it. That definitely, it amps up the mandarin, you know, in the opening, and it sort of hangs on to that, I would say, at least for maybe, I don't know, the first 30 minutes or so, 30, 45 minutes. So I would say those are probably the two best, you know, Aventis interpretations that the House of Scentual Obsessions has currently. All right. So going on to the next one here, this one doesn't have a name on the actual sticker, but this is going to be their interpretation of YSL Tuxedo. I'm sort of debating on whether or not I want to get a full bottle of this, because honestly, I would say this is pretty much, from what I remember, you know, from the original YSL Tuxedo, it's pretty much spot on with what YSL Tuxedo smells like. You know, it's really spicy. You know, you have like this sort of smoky, sort of patchouli type of smell. It's really, really nice. The only thing is to me, in my opinion, this particular scent is not really that versatile. So this is gonna be a scent that I would say you really only wanna wear to like work or to like, you know, formal type occasions or whatnot. But in my opinion, this isn't really like a casual type wear or casual wear type of scent. Like I said, this is strictly for, I would say, wearing to work or any other occasion where you're wearing like a suit and a tie. But this really does smell pretty good. So I would say if you are in those types of situations a lot, then this is definitely going to be blind buy worthy. But you know, if you say, for instance, have a job where the dress code is like super relaxed, where you come in wearing like hoodies and jeans and tennis shoes every day, I don't know if necessarily like if this would be the scent that you would want to wear to work every day, wearing that. But if you have the type of job where it's more so like business or like even business casual, where you're having to wear like dress pants, like a, you know, dress shirt or something like that, then this is definitely going to be more so your speed, I would say, as far as the scent that you would want to wear. All right. So again, YSL Tuxedo, it's blind buy worthy depending on your usage case. All right. And then getting down here to the final two. This one, I was sent this one a while ago and just never really did a video on it. And I honestly, it's because I still don't really know how I feel about this fragrance. This is their interpretation of Coney Island, and that's from Scentual, or not Scentual Obsessions, from Bond Number 9. So this particular scent, I mean, it has like, if you go on Fragrantica, it has a ton of different notes in it. And honestly, when I spray this on, like it does smell nice. Like, you know, I get a nice amount of like citruses on the top notes here. And it does smell sort of like aquatic. So definitely starting off, it starts off pretty good. You know, you get like that sort of like lime sort of smell. I want to say this also has, it has like a tequila note in it, melon, I think like guava fruit. So it definitely has that citrus, you know, up top that you smell when you first spray this on. But then it sort of turns into like this really sort of musky, sort of creamy type of scent. And honestly, I don't know exactly when the best time is to wear this particular fragrance, because at least on my skin, I don't necessarily know if this is something that I would want to smell like on a hot day, because I really feel like this could kind of come off the wrong way if, you know, if I were wearing this on like a hot day where I'm sweating or something like that. Like, I don't know, just all these different notes that it has in it, because it also has like, you know, caramel, cinnamon, dark chocolate, and that, you know, those notes mixed in with like the vanilla and the sandalwood, that's what gives it sort of like a creamy type of feel to it. Honestly, I mean, it doesn't smell bad, I can't say that, but I would say definitely this is going to be one that you would absolutely want to sample first and not blind buy, because this one, like I said, I really don't know how to feel about this fragrance. I really don't. All right, so definitely try that one out before you buy it. All right, and then the last one here is Sea Island, and I believe it's from Antonio Visconti, Sea Island. And this one, I also have the same feelings about this fragrance that I have about the Coney Island, and I also received this at the same time that I received Coney Island. This one, it is definitely a really unique fragrance. You know, it has like this really prominent sort of like green seaweed type of smell to it. But honestly, this is gonna be another fragrance that I don't necessarily know if I would want to smell like this, because honestly, on my skin, once this starts to dry down, the main thing that comes to my mind when I smell this is like baby wipes. Pretty much. Like, imagine you just like literally wiped your ass, and you know, you're wiping your ass with like baby wipes, and just, I guess, imagine that smell like that. I know that's a crazy description, but like that's the best way for me to describe the way that this smells, at least on my skin. Now, maybe this smells amazing on other people, but I really don't know how to feel about this particular fragrance. I really don't. So this one, I would say, is absolutely going to be something that you need to sample first, because I think that this could really go wrong if it comes off of your skin the wrong way. All right. So again, that one is Sea Island from Scentual Obsessions. Definitely check all of these fragrances out, or definitely any of the ones that you're interested in smelling, at www.scentualobsessionsperfume.com. You know, he has all types of different sizes as far as, you know, the fragrances go. So I mean, you can get them in as small as like these little 5 ml decants. I want to say he has like 15 milliliter bottles. He has 30 milliliter bottles, 50 milliliter bottles. I want to say 100 milliliter bottles. So Kevin gives you plenty of choices when it comes to, you know, the different fragrances that you can choose from, and then the sizes. So I really love that about Scentual Obsessions. All right, so go ahead and check them out. Again, Scentualobsessionsperfume.com. All right, that's Jamar here, Vegas Scents. I'll see you on the next video.